Alright, so we got a new American heavyweight champion. It's been a long time, okay? We finally got one. I'm happy. I'm proud of Deontay Wilder. I'm glad he's not a hype job. I was watching this fight, like, please don't let Stiverne not come out in like 1 or 2 rounds, man. I didn't know what to expect, okay? It's a lot of questions that's been answered with this fight. I'm very happy that the heavyweight title is back in America, at least one, okay? It's a start, all right? We all know that Klitschko is the supreme champ. We're not trying to make that argument here. And I'm going to make a separate video speaking on the other heavyweights and Deontay Wilder's future and stuff like that. But right now, let's get on the fight. A lot of questions were answered, all right? Deontay Wilder showed and proved. I was more impressed with this fight here than I've ever been impressed with a Deontay Wilder fight. Even though this wasn't a knockout, I was more impressed with this fight here because he fought a top opponent, he fought a champion, okay? He beat him, clearly beat him, okay? You could argue that he won every round except maybe 1 or 2, okay? Stiverne came prepared. Stiverne came with the game plan. He looked, as far as what we've seen from Stiverne, I can't make any excuses for him losing. Okay, he looked good. He looked in his, normal shape that he's been. I'm sure he wanted to win the fight. I mean, he stuck around the whole fight. He fought back. He had his few rounds. He had his few moments. He landed good shots against Wilder. Just never seen to face Wilder. There was a few times that Wilder was unbalanced and he kind of tripped over his feet. It fell back against the ropes. But he never looked hurt in the fight. Wilder, to me, dropped Stiverne in the second round. Stiverne tackled him to keep himself from falling down. All right, and then they all fell. But, I guess you can't count that as a knockout because it was after the bell. All right, a knockdown, I'm sorry. It was after the bell, so I wouldn't count that as a knockdown. He actually fell down after the bell was already rung or whatever. But it was a pretty entertaining fight. I enjoyed the fight. They both did good, Deontay Wilder kept him on the end of his jab the whole time. He showed that he has a good jab. I thought his jab was okay-ish. It was all right. But he proved to me that he can work the jab for a whole 12 rounds. Okay, he landed that right hand continuously. He even looked good at moments where he was throwing combinations and he was on the inside with Stiverne. Stiverne was in range. Stiverne was actually in range a good amount of time in this fight. Okay, he was actually in range. He wasn't always on the outside. And Deontay Wilder, was getting hit with some good shots and it never really fazed him. So he proved that he has a chin. He proved that he could fight 12 rounds. Okay, he proved that he could use some boxing skills because he was the better boxer to me. All right, he was clearly the better boxer to me. All right, he's proved that he's a top heavyweight, non-debatable. He's a top level fighter. Whether you think he's the best or not, that's debatable. But as far as he definitely could compete and he has a great chin, that was the most major thing with me and Deontay Wilder. I didn't want him to be another hype job. We've seen guys come and go for years and years and years. It's been a very long time. As a frustrated, it's like being a American who like the heavyweight division coming up and watch it. It's like being a Knicks fan right now. I'm a big Knicks fan and we lose every single year. It's like we always lose. And it's good to get some relief. Like now we finally have a good champion. We got a good one. We got a real champion, and I'm happy that he won. I gave him some criticism early when I made the channel, but I'm glad that he won. I wanted him to win the fight. I thought he was gonna win the fight. I thought he was gonna win by late knockout. Okay, I did a prediction video. I thought he was gonna win by knockout, but it was gonna be later. It went the distance. That's cool, but he still won the fight for the reasons that he showed and proved that. That Ray Austin fight, I'm telling you, that Ray Austin fight, if I didn't see that fight, I might have picked Stiverne to win the fight based on what I've seen. Because Ray Austin was clearly beating Stiverne, all right? Not as much as Wilder, but Ray Austin was beating Stiverne with a jab alone. I told you guys, Stiverne moves too slow on his feet. He's too slow, okay? For him to beat a shorter guy with the lower length and everything, he needed to be aggressive when coming forward, and he's just too slow on his feet. He's doing too much feinting, too much. He did stuff. he was doing too much feigning to me, all right? And his head movement, it wasn't on point. You know, Wilder was sticking that jab out, easily tagging him with that jab, you know, easily hitting him with the right hand. Stiverne could never get comfortable in there. You know, Stiverne got some good moments. There was a few good rounds he had in there, but outside of that, Wilder took over. He clearly won the fight, dominated the fight to me, and I'm glad that we got a new champ. All right, now, you know, outside of the fight, I liked Deontay Wilder. I think he is a star in the making. Okay, I liked his post-fight interview. He looked good after the fight was over. You know, got in tux. He did a good speech. You know, he knows how to say the right thing. He didn't go on an onslaught and continue to disrespect. I like fighters that do the talking leading up to the fight and they're just trying to sell the fight, and then after it's over, it's like respect. You know, showed a lot of respect in there. You know, and he made a good speech, man. He talked about the rapper that he had that was in a wheelchair. He talked about his daughter. He talked about he's saying all the right things to me, okay? It's good to have, like, a lot of confidence in yourself and being a little flamboyant from time to time, but it wasn't, like, extreme, you know? To me, he was saying the right things. And I feel like that about Brian Jennings. Like, I like his attitude. And now I get a little bit more, like, leading up to this fight, I see Wilder come more into his own. And I'm like, you know what? I think this guy can pull it off. Like, hopefully he holds the belt for a long time, because this year is a rough year. He's getting the belt where you got Fury that's sitting there. He's ready to go. And then you got Klitschko who wants this belt, all right? So it's going to be a tough year because you got two guys that are extremely dangerous, right? Fury and Klitschko is extreme. All three of them are dangerous to each other, in my opinion, all right? But Deontay Wilder looked great, you know. It was a great fight. It was a throwback fight to me. And I enjoyed watching it, okay? Like I said, I enjoyed it than any other Deontay Wilder fight. And I think his whole posture was different. He looked different in this fight to me. He looked like he took this fight more seriously, and he was a lot defensive. On a defensive standpoint, he took it a lot more serious, all right? He used his jab. He didn't just go for the knockout. All these other guys, he knocked them out the way that he should. This fight, he waited for the knockout to come. If it didn't come, but he fought a smart, intelligent fight the entire time, and he was making Stiverne miss over and over again. You know, I liked his defense better than Stiverne's. You know, so I was very impressed with him overall. And I like his attitude. I think he has the attitude and the personality for a champion. Okay, he's calling out. He's saying names like Fury and Klitschko. I like that, okay? There's a lot of guys that win big fights like this, and the guys that, you know, the fans want to see you fight next, they're ducking the names, they're dancing around the questions. He's not doing any of that. I think he's saying all the right things, and he looked good in the fight. You know, I don't know if he could beat these other two guys, but you know, I think he has a better chance than doing it than Stiverne. As far as Stiverne, I really don't know where he's going to go from here. I really don't know, because Stiverne has shown his limits before, and they showed up in this fight. You know, his limitations were it was very obvious in this fight what his limitations were, okay? Like I said, if you saw the Ray Austin fight, you saw that Stiverne in this fight, okay? Chris Arreola went and fell into his trap, so he looked good at beating Chris Arreola twice. But these guys, these taller guys that have good jabs, you know, they fought a smart fight, and Stiverne really doesn't have the skills to get around a guy that has a good jab. He just doesn't have it. All right, this is why I didn't want him to fight Klitschko. It would have been a dominated performance, and he doesn't have the stamina. You know, Wilder showed that he had good stamina. He took some rounds off, and there were some moments where he did look tired. But then he came back, he followed up a separate round. Then he was just taking a couple rounds off. And those are the rounds that seemed like Stiverne won. Stiverne did hit him with some good shots. He seems to be a pretty durable guy. I mean, Chris Arreola went down to Stiverne in both fights. And for him to land some good shots against Wilder and Wilder be fine, didn't really ever seem to be bothered by Stiverne's power to me, all right? Even when he went to the body, all right? So anyway, I love the fight. I can't wait. I'm going to make a separate video now, and I'm going to talk about Fury and all of these other fights that could be made, but I'm going to make it a separate video because I don't want this video to be too long. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.